Hi guys, welcome to Beauty Slash channel. And in today's video I will show you the microblading which I did on the Asian skin. How I did first the base, how I put more strokes, and then how it all came out very nice. So please stay tuned and write your questions if you have any. Also connect to my Instagram page where you can comment under any of my pictures of how I did this work, and I will be very happy to make a new video for you. So stay tuned and let's get to microblading process. So after I draw the shape for her, now it's time for me to check whether her left eyebrow is the same as her right eyebrow. So I apply Vaseline on her skin first, just so that this foil would stick nicely to her forehead, and so that I can freely put some marks and it wouldn't slip under my hands. So you can see I put marks. This is because later I want to check if this shape is the same as on the other side eyebrow shape. So I just put it up, twist it, turn it, and then I just check her right eyebrow. And as you can see, it's very nicely done. So just the minor correction, a little bit smaller, a little bit shorter brow, but overall it's very the same. So after I agree that her eyebrows are equal, it's time for me to apply a white pencil beauty slash, so that after the numbing cream I can see the shape there. Once again, you can use the black pencil, you can use the white pencil, but personally I like to use white, so it's more stands out. And again, I apply a marker on top of my white pencil just so that it stays after the second or even third pass. But honestly, this white pencil is enough. It will last you after the numbing cream, so you would not need the marker, but I do it because I sometimes need to still see it after the second or third passes. But be aware that it's a little bit hard to remove the marker. So here, as you can see, I again check whether the left eyebrow is the same with the right eyebrow, just to double check. And then after I confirm, I go ahead and apply my marker on her right eyebrow. So now it's time for the numbing cream. I use Amla 5% lidocaine. It works nicely for me. You can buy it in any drugstore. And yes, I didn't have any problems. Although you cannot apply this on eyes. After the numbing cream has been applied, I put the foil and wait 30 minutes. 30 minutes finish, and it's time for us to see the microblading process. Now I use the razor tool just to erase my numbing cream from her eyebrow. You see the white pencil is still there, the marker is still there, and I just use a tissue which I separated into two parts, so it's got thinner now, just to wipe out the rest of numbing cream. Now I do pre-draw the microblading strokes before my procedure, just to be more confident and to kind of see how the after look will be. So I use this pencil and actually just following her natural eyebrow growth. Tail, she doesn't have any of her eyebrows, so I have to do really good job to make it look very natural, as her main goal is to have very, very natural eyebrows. And I know if I overload her skin with the strokes, the healing result will be very blurry, and it will make the whole look not like microblading but more like a shading. So I'm trying to draw the microblading structure or microblading strokes that are not intersecting with each other, so more like a parallel lines. And then I would do the second and third passes through the same strokes rather than filling in new strokes on her brows. Okay, so let's get to our first microblading stroke. So I take very little bit of ink and then I tap on her skin and kind of go into it very gently, not deep inside. So again, I tap, I make sure the ink falls onto her skin, and then I grab this ink through the entire stroke. I go very slowly, although right now I will speed up this video, but the first 3 strokes you saw how slowly I did it, very gently and very precisely. So again, the most important thing is make sure the ink falls onto the skin first before you do the stroke. And you also would want to first feel the skin, so that's why I do maybe several very shallow like touches onto her skin, and then only I go through the entire stroke. Okay, so now this video will be speed up, and I will just fill the rest of her brows following my pre-drawn structure. Okay, so now it's time to check the microblading result, and as you can notice at the front she got very vivid strokes that I did, but at the end it looks like very light. So I have to check whether those strokes at the end are having the ink inside or not by just stretching the skin like I do right now. So I see that some strokes are lacking the ink, so I will insert the ink one more time again. Since the numbing cream is still there, I don't afraid of her feeling any pain. So I go all over again, the same strokes very carefully, not messing up with the skin, because I have quite a stable hand, because through the years of practice now I can confidently go through the same stroke. But if you're a beginner, if your hand is not stable, if you feel like you will mess up the stroke, just let your client come back for touch up rather than making the stroke very blurry and just making this all look unnatural. As a notice for you, if you are overdoing with a stroke, if you're placing too much ink or messing up with a stroke, the healed result will be very blurry and not natural looking. So after I placed the ink, now I rub the ink inside the stroke. So I stretch the skin in 3 points and place the ink. Now what I did, okay, here I also place some more ink inside, basically on the bottom. And again, if you place the more ink there, expect the healed result be more the stroke be more fatter, or more stronger in color. So I don't place the ink one more time on the upper part of brow, because this is the lighter part, but I do place more of the ink on the bottom of her brow, because this is the place where I don't afraid the strokes to be more darker or more fatter or anything like that. So even at the front, I can go all over the same strokes, but just make sure I do place them on the bottom, or if I want to correct something on the upper part of brow, I go very, very lightly to not mess up the whole picture. Once I did it, I again fill in the ink. And let me do the same procedure on her left eyebrow. Again, soaking up the numbing cream, let the skin be dry, and then pre-drawing microblading strokes pattern. Just notice how I follow her natural eyebrow growth. You want you want your eyebrows to look natural, so the microblading has to follow her eyebrow growth. Even though you learn many microblading patterns or structures, you always have to be creative depending on clients' type of brows. Here I just wiped out her right eyebrow because I wanted to make sure the head of eyebrows are the same, so that they look identical. And I can follow this, confidently follow my structure. Again, placing the ink on the skin and making sure it falls into the trap all through the stroke. It's also very important how you stretch the skin, because you want to make sure the area you're working with is tight and not too soft. So the better you stretch the skin, the better the result, or the better the ink insertion. So I always make sure I stretch the skin well in 3 points, but of course not over stretch. Now you can see I wiped out the ink because I wanted to put the second numbing cream on her brow, because I will come back to this brow to insert more ink on the strokes. So I just put more numbing cream, secondary numbing cream, and put some foil. And now I can get back to this eyebrow and just finish insertion of the ink. I also noticed that this eyebrow came out a little bit thinner, so I just place the dots, the new outline, to make it a little bit thicker to match the other eyebrow. So again, this is very precise work, as the strokes here are very small and detailed. but I'm just like trying to very carefully to make the before strokes longer. And if you still feel like the previous strokes are still, they don't have ink inside enough, just go ahead, even insert on your third or even fourth path the ink again. So this is my already third path, and I'm again inserting the ink inside because her skin is kind of, I would say, tight, so I don't afraid to mess up with the stroke. Sometimes depending on the client, some of the skin is more weak, some of the skin is more thick, so you always have to judge by stretching the skin, by looking how it has the ink inside. Sometimes the stroke outside looks light, but when you stretch the skin, you see the ink is already inside. So don't place more ink in that case. Coming back to the other side and doing the same process. Now once her brows are ready, I just check the final result, whether I should add anything. I also check with the client whether she wants to add something. And then after everything is confirmed, I just go ahead and place the last final ink on top of her eyebrows to let it soak for a few minutes, maybe 4 or 5 minutes. So it's time to reveal our very natural looking eyebrows that we did today with the help of microblading, and I'm very excited and I'm looking forward the healing result, and I'm sure it will heal really nicely and even more softer look brows, and it will be even more and more natural. She was very happy with the final result, and I'm happy that I could help her to achieve this amazing looking brows that I obviously in love with as well. So thank you again for watching our microblading tutorial, and hope to see you guys in the next videos.